Hey, welcome to the Harry Man Show number 11. Well, there's more than one Dustin in the world. Today I have a guest from Texas. He's a great songwriter. Actually, I met him on social media, and I've been listening to a lot of his stuff. His name is Dustin Brown. How you doing, Dustin?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just
good. And
chilling, you know.
Yeah. How's everything going down there in Texas?
Oh, it's getting there. You know, just been trying to book shows, and you know they get taken away, and then book more, and you know, just kind of a roller coaster right now. But you know, got our health, and weather's not too bad. Which usually it's scorching this time of year. We kind of had a little cool front come through.
And what part of Texas are you coming from?
Kind of between Waco and Austin is kind of where I reside, and you know, but when I'm not doing music, I end up out in West Texas sometimes doing a little mechanicing work and stuff like that. But
so are you more
kind of all over, you know,
closer to the metro side, or more of like a rural area?
No, I was out rural area for sure.
Oh, nice.
Like, that's where I was raised up, and like I said, the past few years with music and just the way I live my life, I'm all over the place, man.
I'm definitely.
You know, I'll stay in Austin for a little bit, then I'll stay in Waco for a little bit, and then I'm out. Like right now, I'm out in Gulfway, Texas, which is the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's kind of a good thing sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your music. I'm really digging a new album. I was listening to it in rotation this morning and last night. But how did that come about, and how are you feeling about it?
Man, it's come together really well. I mean, you know, I've been writing and playing music since I was like 13, something like that. You know, so I really should have had a couple albums by now. But it's you know, I guess it's just been mastering my craft, and I'd do something and not be happy with it. And, but I got away from music for like 5 or 6 years and tried to like, you know, chase down like a whole career and stuff like that. And that kind of fell all apart, and, you know, always come back to my home base, which is music. And that's where it brings us to the last like 2 years. You know, a few events happened that kind of people just kind of let me know like, hey man, you should be doing this thing. Like, and took their word for it, whether they were lying or not, and kind of got back into it full force. And I kind of had to rebuild I had the songs. I have plenty of songs written, but I had to rebuild my sound and really figure out who I was. And then met some folks, Ben Hussey over at Melody Mountain Studios. You guys are up in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix right now.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if you ever heard of American Aquarium?
Sounds familiar, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay, well, like he played bass for them and some groups down here in Texas and stuff. Phenomenal musician and stuff. And he approached me, you know, about recording. Kind of like put it off for a while and tried to do some home recording stuff. And you know, it's just hard to can record myself, but like trying to mix and master, just not. You know, you're listening to yourself all day long. It kind of sucks. But
it's definitely a learning process.
Yeah. So I finally, you know exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finally got in with him, and that's good, you know. And we sat down and recorded 12 songs for an album. Only 10 came out because we realized at the end, because I did a vinyl press, you know.
Oh, nice.
And you can only fit like 22 minutes per side, so we actually had to cut 2 songs. And,
yeah.
They'll come out later on, but yeah, man, it's kind of like one of those finally moments, you know. I've been playing and singing for a long time, and people always been. You know, people always ask, like, where can we get your music? And I was like, well, I've got some stuff on YouTube, which is like crappy cell phone videos and things. But, yeah, finally got a record now. So it's good, man.
So I noticed some of your recordings are with the band and without. What do you prefer, to be honest?
Man, so that's a new thing. It's kind of tricky at the moment. I started back in high school. We had a band. We were like mainly a cover band, and that was just kind of like to get the chicks, and it was fun, you know?
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then, you know, but ever since I've been out, which is like 10 years now, it's like did the solo thing and writing, and that's pretty much where my wheelhouse. And you can really do what you want. You know, you don't have to stay in time. You don't have to hit this stop perfectly. But yeah, I had a couple guys approach me. Oh God, it was like probably like 6 months ago now, something like that. And they were like, hey, you know, we want to play with you and all this. I'm like, well, let's give it a try. And it's been fun. The only unfortunate thing is I guess that was probably like around October, November, something like that.
Oh, nice.
And we, you know, so by the time we learned to set and got everything kind of, you know, then the holidays hit and like, all right, we're not really doing nothing to the holidays. And And then, by the time we scheduled and had everything ready to go, our debut show as a band was on St. Patrick's Day down here in Texas. We shut down the day before St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I was thinking mid-March is when it all started, right?
Yeah, man. It was so aggravating because because it's a lot of work. I mean, like for me, just I go around. I can fit all my gear in the back of a Suburban, and I drive around and gig and sleep in the car, and it's very, it's a solo venture, so it's easy. It's so easy to do that, and the band is difficult. It's hard, but it's fun. It's worth it. So, and then you got to book, and booking is a whole different thing with a band. Money. I can take kind of just a little frivolous gig that doesn't pay much or nothing by myself. With the band, we got to really try to line out money and set times and all this stuff. So anyway, what I'm getting at, we went through the whole process and I had a week. We'd have our debut show, and then we had made it into a battle of the bands. Then we had a little festival. I had 2 or 3 shows that week solo. It was just gonna be a week of just music. Starting the spring off, that's kind of what I do. I take it easy through the winter, and then the spring I hit it hard all the way through the summer. And yeah, man, that all this stuff started and kind of shut all that down, and then we it's just been this roller coaster ever since. And so me and the band really have only played 2 live shows, and neither one of them were, at real venues. They're kind of the backyard kind of thing, and, which was fun and good. But it's, yeah, man, we're just got the record, got the band, but we can't play any shows right now. So it's been kind of crazy.
And what are you calling the band? You just calling Dustin Brown as well?
Yeah, no. So, at first we had this, terrible thing, the Leftovers, because they were left over from this other band, but I had to explain to them. I was like, man, that sounds because when you say Dustin Brown and the Leftovers, it sounds like I image myself in a wife beater hovering over some Chinese food in the living room at 4 a.m. in the morning, and they're like, you're right. So the new name is, or the current name is Dustin Brown and the Now.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
That was then, and this is now.
Oh, cool.
Sounds cool, I guess.
So I know here in Phoenix, when everything's normal, the slower seasons in the summer because it's so higher. What is the slower seasons in Texas as far as going out and seeing live music? Is it wintertime?
No, say that one more time.
I'm sorry. I know the slow seasons here in Phoenix when it comes to music, when things are normal, because it's hot during the summer. But in Texas, was it slow down in the wintertime, or? No,
man. Texas has a really healthy, live music scene, man. Honestly, especially for now, definitely the spring and summer is, just like the rest of the country is festivals and, big concerts and things like that. But we don't really slow down too much in the winter either because, it doesn't get that cold here. I mean, you were talking about 30, when the coldest that you're really going to see is the 30s and 20s. But even then, I've been on stages when it's 35 degrees out and they just got a few heaters up on stage and they go with it.
Yeah, it's bearable.
Yeah,
as long as you don't let your hands lock up on you there, it's bearable.
Yeah. You get about 45 minutes to an hour in weather like that before you're I can't. Yeah, I can't. I hope I'm playing the right notes and the strings.
You don't even know if you're holding a pick at that point.
No, yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Yeah, usually I'll bust my cuticles because I can't. I use my fingers to strum most of the time, and finger pick, and then I strum. And when I can't feel them, at the end of the show, I'll look down. There's blood all over the guitar. And, I mean, not a lot. My cuticles will bust those things. So it's
yeah, it's a bummer.
But I don't know. So in some way, those are funner than the 110 degree days too. Those are equally as miserable. They put you on a concrete pad somewhere underneath a little awning, a tin awning.
Yeah, canopy.
Yeah, you're just melting.
Yeah, I rather take the cold over the heat any day when it comes to that. But
yeah, for sure.
So I was listening to your music, and before I say anything, what were your main influences as far as a songwriter? I mean, I have some ideas, but I just want to hear from you first.
Man, it's been a long time. But I'd say, I was a kid. My parents are quite a bit older than the average person of my age. So I was kind of raised up with the classic country and stuff, and a lot of Johnny Cash, Johnny Horton, Waylon Jennings, stuff like that, Willie Nelson, and so I had an early response of to that. I think that definitely influences some of my stuff, and then And then later on, like down here in Texas, we have like a Texas country scene. It's people like Wade Bowles, and Randy Rogers, guys like that back in the day, and Charlie Robinson, people like that from back in the day that were really, now that scene's kind of transformed a little bit. But anyway, that influenced me for a while, which kind of gives you this dirty, gritty, kind of rock and roll country vibe,
Yeah.
And then, but in the past, like, I'd say like 8 years or so is when I really started listening to a song I'd like. And then I realized, because I just thought everybody wrote the songs they sang, I guess, up to a certain point. And then I realized they didn't. So I started, every time I'd listen to a song, I'd look up who wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And then being from Texas, you find out Towns Van Zandt, is one of the legends down here, Blaze Foley, Guy Clark, all these guys, guys and gals that the real songwriters, in my opinion or whatever. And then, kind of dove into that side of things, and then get into more modern people, like Hayes Carl, Ryan Bingham, I think he plays out Charles Way quite a bit. He's getting pretty national now. But, I would say that's my more recent kind of guys. And then, people like Lucero, they're a little more on that Southern rock kind of modern Southern rock kind of style of things. But take all that and then smash it together. And
I played with some country bands here, and I noticed it's relating to like more like 80s, 90s rock a little bit now. At least more on the west side here a little bit more. I know you're more in the heart of it, but a lot of the stuff they're mixing in, like 80s covers and stuff, and it's like, all right, I kind of know these, so it's easy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely is a thing. When I told you the Texas country scene has kind of evolved now too. The parts of it I don't like, but there's still some parts that are all right, but that's the thing that everybody keeps saying. They're like, all right, everybody's going to this like 90s rock kind of vibe.
Like Hootie and Blowfish feel.
Yeah, which is fun, but at the same time, it's like, all right, come on. Like,
the
Texas country.
Yeah, I think that demographic's aging too. So, the people with that nostalgia are looking back in their 30s and 40s now. And
definitely.
And that's what they grew up with, modern day rock, radio, and all that stuff. So, everything changes constantly. So you can't really, you can bring the past back, but we can't sit here and long for it all the time,
No, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been through Texas touring with some metal bands about a decade ago, and I was surprised, how big some of the venues were and how much of a scene there was. But once again, that was a decade ago. But Texas, it takes a while to get through it. I've drove through it a couple times, and it's a big state.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst when you're going east to west,
Yeah, you just feel like I'm gonna, it's gonna take like 2 years to get through this.
Yeah. Or even like I'm from Central Texas. It takes 5 hours, almost 5. If you go straight from where I was raised out west, it takes almost like 4 hours, 5 hours to get to the border to Louisiana. And then, like, say if you're going to Georgia, over that direction, and then it's just like boom, boom, boom. All the states just start flying by. You just keep seeing different, signs.
Yeah.
It takes, you can cross 2 states in the time or 3 in the time it takes to cross all the way across Texas, man.
Yeah, I'm not bashing on Texas. It's a great state. I just, just when you're in it, you're like, Jesus, like, that's all I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's like all my friends from, I lived down in Louisiana for 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Working offshore and stuff, and a lot of the guys that we had a sister company out in California, so all these guys would Santa Barbara, California, to be in particular. So these guys would show up like, "Oh man, we're gonna be working offshore, based out of Santa Barbara, California," and they get hired on with our company. They'd be like, "Nah, you're going to Louisiana."
Yeah.
So all these California, Washington guys, Oregon guys, they would make that trek from California to Louisiana, and they all just talk mad shit on Texas. They're just God. It was like we just drove forever in Texas, and you're on the interstate. You're not really seeing the best, the best stuff. So, anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I was born and raised in California, so I guess I relate to that a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. So, but
I love it.
Looking forward, how do you? Have they been doing like the drive-in concerts there and that kind of stuff, or has that kind of just been on hold as well?
There has been the thing. The thing about people like my level people is, there's not a lot of those opportunities. Anything. There's opportunities for anything. We could hustle and do it, but the turnout would be, who knows? I mean, it might be good. People would show up, but for like the level I'm on currently, it's more. I have quote unquote fans or whatever, people that follow me and stuff, but majority, it's us going to a venue, and the venue has the crowd, you know, and we're trying to attract those people. But now, like some of the bigger acts in Texas, yeah, they've been doing the drive-in stuff. They've been doing outdoor things. You know, the thing I've been trying to focus on now is we had rebooked. We opened up for a little while there. Texas was wide open again.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that was only for about a month or something like that. And it took me, you know, during that month, like, you know, you don't book and then play the next week generally, you know, especially like when we're doing a solo thing, I can pull that off. But with the band, it's kind of like, you know, you got to schedule it out a little bit.
Yeah, people have families and obligations and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. So during the time we were open, it took me all that time to book us like the next month, and then we shut down again. So
sorry, man.
Like, dang, man, you know. So, yeah. But yeah, I think now, yeah, definitely trying to, maybe for the remainder of the year, try to just do some house concerts and stuff like that, like private events. Everything else is looking pretty grim.
Yeah, and I see issues with the driving concert because people drink when they go to shows, and you know, I mean, you're drinking in your car and then driving away, and you see the issues there. I mean, not that you would any different for being at a concert, but you can kind of overdo it in a car. You know what I mean? As far as what I see,
sure.
You know?
Yeah, no, and also, I mean, maybe I'm just being, you know, like the pretentious songwriter musician guy, but like for me, like playing a show is like the experience isn't just, you know, for the person listening, like experience for me too. And I like to interact. It's fun, you know, that's why we do it. And I don't know, like that's why the virtual thing I've kind of stayed away from, which, you know, I know there's people that have their opinion on that. They say, well, you got to adapt and you got to move on. It's like, well, I'll record more music now and I'll make videos. But like, you know, like even like the live stream thing, it's like, man, I don't know whose connection is glitchy on the other end or if my connection's bad. And
yeah, it's all about presentation too at the same time, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And it can be good. I have some friends that are killing it in that and doing well. And it's just, I guess I'm behind the curve on adapting to this whole thing. But yeah, man, I think the future for me is if things stay shut down throughout the year, like I said, it's just trying to, the little bit of fan base I've got is trying to schedule some house shows, literally playing in somebody's backyard for a couple $100 or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, this could be a good time to refine yourself too. That's what I kind of been doing myself.
Oh yeah. Definitely been practicing and trying to learn new instruments, new chords, new scales, things like that.
So you play primarily just guitar or you venture out a little bit as well?
Yeah, no, I play guitar, harmonica. I dabble with drums, you know, like we had talked in the message. Like, I'm not so great with my, you know, if it's a steady beat, I can stick with it, you know, like on actual acoustic drums. Because my hand to foot coordination just doesn't work sometimes. Doesn't like to work. But I just got a strike pad recently.
Oh, nice.
Lisa's strike pad and that you know, it's like, well, I can keep a beat on top of a table. I can keep a beat on that thing, you know, because everything's right there, and I've been dabbling with that.
Yeah, you can run loops on that too, right?
Oh yeah, I can do it. It's a spaceship, dude. I have there's like a 30-minute video on YouTube on learning how to use it, you know, and I still don't fully I mean, I'm starting to assign my own pedals or my own pads and like build my own kit. But dude, it's a spaceship. There's so much going on there. But.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I'm definitely a drummer myself, so it's a low tech thing most of the time. So you know, I'm venturing into recording right now. So yeah, a lot of headaches, a lot of hours, but it's worth it. Yeah. I'd rather spend time doing that than anything else. You know.
Yeah, that's the same thing here, man. I got that pad, and I recently I woke up one morning and just had a super creative morning, you know, and I wrote this new song or whatever, and I had the pad in the room. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like, you know, I've been focused so much on perfection, not total perfection. You know, I want to get stuff right. It's like I haven't just woke up, wrote a song, and created a video in like a single day in like a long time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped up, wrote it. You know, that came out good, and then it inspired me for the rest of it. And I jumped on that pad and I recorded it. I had my camera out and stuff, and I was, you know, hitting the pad and everything. And, you know, it's like 10 hours later, I'm like, oh, cool. I've got like a little video to upload. And it's not perfect, but it's like, and that was fun. And it's kind of a reminder, like, that's why I do music.
Yeah, progress is progress. So, you know, you get stuck in a time warp there, and it's worth it. I mean, I do it all the time myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, that's the best feeling is when you whether it's you said, hitting drums or strumming chords. But you look down, you know, and then you look back up, and it's like you time traveled. You know, 4 or 5 hours later, you're like, okay, you know.
All right, and I know we probably talked about this a little bit, but I want to circle back. What are the notable venues in your area that are kind of like the places to go? You know, I mean, like that's like, you know, the hot spots, but when everything was normal.
Man, for my little scene that I've been accepted into, you know, we have a place in Gatesville, Texas, which is, I mean, Gatesville is not really known for a whole lot of music stuff. I mean, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's people that know more than I do, but there's a venue there called Bare Bones Barbecue, and these guys, they built a big backyard. They've got an inside stage, an outside stage, and like I said, I mean, the location just is so unassuming, but you know, pretty much every small songwriter up to the big like Texas touring acts have been, you know, gathering there. So that's a good one.
Yeah. And what about the bigger cities there? Is there any like notable ones that you're like, oh man, I would love to go there and play?
Well, no, I played like Adair's. They accept me over there in Dallas. You know, for whatever reason, they let me play. They're a good one. Like Lola's Trailer Park in Fort Worth, they're a good one. And then down in Austin, we got the Rustic Tap. We just had to cancel some stuff we had with them, but it's for a good reason. They're preparing to open back up to the public. So they were doing a live stream, like a legit, you know, really good live stream. And we were going to play that, and they're like, "Well, we just got word we're going to try to open back up, so they're going to book us when they're actually open," which is, you know, good. We're like, "That's fine. That's a good cancellation," you know. But
yeah, that's a good thing.
But yeah, as far like places that I haven't played, you know, that are like big spots, you know, like, you got like down in Galveston, done the old quarter, played their open mic, but you know, to ever get to play there as an actual booked show would be good. You know, that's Rex Bell, you know, his place. There's a lot of history there. Towns Van Zandt, Blaze Foley, Hayes Carl, those guys. Actually, more than that, you know, string through there. But yeah, and then you got the Mucky Duck in Houston. Same thing. I've done their like open mic night and stuff like that. But it's another prestigious place, you know, as a songwriter to get to play. You know, so there's a few that still working up to get there. But now that I got the album, hopefully I can market myself a lot better and try to get up in those bigger spots.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of trends. I think Texas is going to blow up pretty soon because I notice a lot of people are moving to that state. You know, I hear a lot of things, even from celebrities to just people I know that are trying to get away from the coast and all that stuff. And I can see Texas blowing up pretty soon on that scene. Things changing pretty soon here in the next decade or so.
Oh, definitely, man. I moved to Austin right when I graduated high school like 10 years ago, and it was busy. It was busy as any city would be, you know. But my God, like now it's insane. I mean, I think they were. I don't know if they were like in the top 3 as far as like cities growing in America or something like that.
Yeah, I think Phoenix is right there with them.
What's that?
I think Phoenix is right in the same boat with them right now too, as well.
Yeah, because you guys are in the same kind of thing. It's like, oh, we can move here and not have crazy taxes, not have crazy weird stuff. You know, it's kind of like these.
Yeah, the houses aren't $1 million.
Exactly. Yeah. Down here in Texas, we've been for the past like 5 or 6 years. We've been calling it the California Exodus. You know.
That's what I was about to say. It's the same thing here. I see a lot of California license plates popping up.
Yeah, because they, you know, I have I have a bunch of friends from there from my past career, and you know, they talk about their parents selling this house that they paid like $250,000 for, you know, 10 years ago. They're selling it for, you know, over like $800,000, you know. And then they come down to Texas, or probably the same thing with Arizona, and with that they can buy a house and 50 acres.
You know? That's ideal, and I see that trending. That's what I was getting at. Like, I can see a lot of people, you know, the infrastructure of Texas and these Midwest states, you know, building, and the music scene kind of flourishing with it as well, because people want culture. They want, you know, they want, you know, small town walks or whatever you want to call it, you know, go see a band on Friday night, bar hop. I mean, I think a lot of people are missing that, obviously, right now, too, but and then Texas is just, you know, even, not to bring Joe Rogan up, but he's even just praising Texas lately, and he's moving out there.
Yeah, he's moving, I'm a Roganite, I listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, who isn't at this point?
When he said that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. You know, like it's...
And he's gonna have a swarm with them, too, and, you know, and
Oh yeah. I mean, just like I said, we've already had, like I said, for the past, it's probably been longer than the past 5 or 6 years, but it's really ramped up the past 5 or 6 years with all the tech coming to Austin and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Tesla just announced they're going to build, I think it's not soon, it's like within the next 10 years, they're going to be building a factory right outside Austin. And it all comes in at the same time. That happens. Joe Rogan says he's moving. It's like, and Joe Rogan's probably the biggest podcast in the world. Or
I say he's probably one of the most famous people in the world, to be honest with you, at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, that just him muttering things on his podcast, can raise or crash stocks, and things like that.
Yeah, it's intense.
So when him saying he's moving to Texas, I guarantee you there's like a whole string of people that are just like, yep, we're going to Texas. Like,
yeah.
Said it,
yeah. I mean, that's definitely his power influence there in a good way. I mean, and
very good.
He's influenced me to start this show, and I mean, obviously I'm a crumb under his foot, but like, I just mean like, it just, yeah, it's cool, man. I watch the show daily, and you know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even want to bring it up because I'm on your podcast right now, and I felt like it'd be just. But I was just listening to the episode with the last one, the very last there with the painter who went to the Congo.
Oh, Cho, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I listened to part of that.
Yeah, I was actually just listening to it on the porch before you called me.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I respect the guy, and then I don't strive for that. At least 10% of what he does, but
definitely.
And so, kind of venturing back into your gear, what kind of guitars do you play, and what are you looking forward to getting, or if there's anything you're looking for?
Man, cheap was always the start there for me back in the day, and I'm still I still have like a threshold I hang around, but yeah, back in the day I had Ibanez, had Ibanez acoustic, and later on I got which I still have now, is an Ibanez like Les Paul Monk, and I still play that thing. It's a little higher up on the spectrum or whatever, but then I moved into Washburns back in the day, and I had this pretty cheap acoustic electric Washburn, but it was acoustic electric, so I could use it on stage. When I was living down in Louisiana, we had that they called it, I think, the 300-year flood or 100-year flood, whatever it was. But I was offshore, man, working on a boat, and they're talking about these floods coming up, and the news, they show like little. There's like a person standing there in like their raincoat with like a neighborhood behind them or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there and I was like, it was just like a flash, and I saw like, pretty sure it was my neighborhood, and my buddy turned over to me. He's like, but not your neighborhood, And I was like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was living in an RV at the time.
Oh, man.
He's like, wasn't that your RV park? And I was like, yeah, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, yeah, but I went to the boat phone, called up my buddies. I was like, go break my windows and get my guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, the good ones were up. I had them up like kind of on a bench, like there's a booth inside most campers. I had it up on the booth, Mm-hmm. Anyway, they pulled the good ones, my Resonator, which is a Washburn, also a nice one, and then that Ibanez, like Les Paul, they were up there. But that other cheap one that I played all the time was down on the ground, and it got, just flooded, just totally toasted. But it was a good thing, because I started guitar hunting again, and then I found the one that is like my baby now is I have a Washburn Parlor, like a WPN 11 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But, short frame guitar, looks like a child's guitar, it's a Parlor, it's super small, but, man, I finger pick primarily. So it's, I don't lose that sound in like the big, like a Dreadnought or, full size, like that. It's real pop. And then I can plug it into, and I like to, break people's brains with it because it's an acoustic guitar, but I'll plug it in and run it through, delays and reverbs and all that stuff and really make it trippy.
Now, you might have mentioned this, but are you self-taught or did you grow up taking lessons?
I had, like, when I was like 12 or 13, I had like a few months worth of lessons. It was like some college kid, and then he decided he was going to go somewhere else. So he left, and I got a new teacher that was trying to like start me over. Mm-hmm. Because I was so close to the beginning. He's like, we're going to start over like with this other book and all this. And even at the age of 13, I was like, Mom, this guy's ripping you off. I was like, I know, because you refused to like pick up from where I had already learned, and it was making me so mad. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. And yeah, just basically what I got from the first guy was okay, pluck the string, push the string down, makes the sound, and which number my fingers are. So I was able to read like a chord chart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember them. Like Walmart had those like
I remember
the poster section. I got one of those chords. I told my mom like, this is all I need. And she got it for me. And, and I just learned all my chords, my open chords, and took off. That's all. I always knew I wanted to songwrite. I didn't want to be a guitar player. I just needed to play guitar to write the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I teach myself more. I teach myself scales and stuff now, and I try to lead more. Like some of the leads on the record of mine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, mainly I'm just a old chord player trying to write songs.
Yeah, I've been dabbling, getting into guitar and bass myself, and it's a whole new thing. And I'm not putting pressure on myself to get good at it, but it's just fun. And I think the more I learn, the more I notice when I listen to other music, and if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And like things that just patterns. I'm like, I didn't even heard that. And now I can start to single things out. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a blast. And I'm more attracted to the Fender stuff, like the Telecaster and the P bass and all that. But
oh yeah, I love it. I love a good Telecaster.
Yeah, a Telecaster can go in any situation, and that seafoam green. That cut something about that. I know it's a trendy color now, but But that seafoam blue is also real nice, and I'm starting to kind of get into that because I'm a big drum nut too. So like, it just you got to open yourself up a little bit here and there and learn other things here and there.
Oh, I mean, exactly like you said, is when you start playing another instrument. Some things, let's talk about drums. I mean, the same thing is like, I've always had like a rhythm in my head, because I'm a rhythm guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I sit down on the drum, I'm like, and I've been playing like acoustic drums more and more. And like I said, I've got that pad now. And so now when I'm listening to a song, used to the drums were just there. Now it's like I hear them do something. I'm like, oh wow, that's so hard, like because that it's difficult now. Not that I guess I knew it was difficult before, but you just don't pay attention to it, But when you start, or like I said, when I mess with my fiddle, which oh my god, that's a real bitch. So I'm not gonna lie, that one it's the most frustrating thing because I can't just pick it up and play it. Like everything else, I can just pick up and play.
Yeah.
That I can't even pretend to. But so now when I hear a fiddle part, it's like my face is melting. I'm like, oh my god, because it's hard, But
yeah, it started with bass for me because you can fake it with the bass a little bit, and then I was like, I can learn some chords here and at least sit in with the band, that's my first goal.
Yeah, do the old ball for ball.
Yeah. I just, a friend needs help or, rhythm guitar, like you were saying, like it, why not, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just opens your vocabulary. But we're going to wrap it up here in a minute. Can we plug yourself and where to find your music, the best places here? And I know you were mentioning YouTube, but is there any other platforms we can listen to you?
Yeah. So now that the record's out, it's everywhere. My distributor put it everywhere where you can pay for it and get it for free.
Mm.
So like, but if you're on Spotify, which is the main platform that I'm, that gets me the most, most people are on.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, my CEO isn't built up enough for you to put Dustin Brown. So it will show up, but you have to dig. But if you put Dreamer's Last Drifter, which is the title of the album,
mm-hmm.
It comes up almost immediately. But if it doesn't come up immediately, put Dreamer's Last Drifter and then Dustin Brown.
Okay. Yeah, I've been listening to you on YouTube there. That's kind of where I found you. But yeah, Spotify and YouTube.
Thing on there. Yeah. Like YouTube is Dustin Brown -music is my page. But also, Dreamer's Last Drifter, type that, it'll come up on there. And I'm on all the TikToks and, for as long as that's going to be around.
Yeah.
I'm on, and the new thing, Instagram Reels. I got an email that, that I'm on that now.
Oh, nice.
Listen Here Now, all those apps, all those things, like it's literally everywhere you can get it. It's on Napster, it's on all the free and illegal whatevers, we just put it everywhere because we don't really make a whole lot from the streams anyway. So I was like, just put it out there and let everybody have it.
Yeah.
And that's like on my website too, is www.dustbromusico.com.
Uh-huh.
And, if one wants to subscribe to my mailing list, you can get it for free download through there. And,
nice.
And then once the vinyl comes in, the vinyl will be selling there too, straight from my site or whatever. And when you buy the album, you get access to the download.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get one of those vinyls from you because I've been kind of in a vinyl rush lately, and Yeah, I kind of want to hear it on vinyl as well.
Well, that's the thing too, is we, it might even sound better because Ben, when we got in the mastering process, I told him that I wanted to do vinyl, I mean, that wasn't our main goal, but it kind of turned into that because when I told him I wanted to do vinyl, he dove into the world of mastering on vinyl, I had to do his research on it. And I didn't even know either. Well, he didn't know. I didn't know. There's like, the grooves in the vinyl needs a certain decibel. It needs all this, mastering stuff. So he mastered it based off of vinyl, parameters. So, and then the parameters for vinyl wasn't that far outside of what the digital realm would be, and so we were just like, well, we were going to do 2 mixes or 2 masters, and it was like, we'll just do the one.
Nice.
So really, the thing that you're hearing digitally was mastered for vinyl.
Oh, nice.
So I'm even curious when it gets into. I'm going to pop it on and see. I think it's going to sound stellar.
Yeah, I'm always searching Goodwills for any vinyls I could find. I got quite a collection myself, but yeah, it's definitely become a thing. I think it's more mainstream than CDs now, to be honest with you.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah, everybody, when I, all my friends, all the people who like jam me and stuff, for the past few years, when I told them I was in recording, they're like, "Are you going to do vinyl? You can do vinyl?" I was like, enough people asked. I was like, I'm going to look into it. And it wasn't cheap, but it also, the return I can get on it is going to be good, and that goes back to, musicians making, money even before all this stuff happened. It's kind of, it's slim pickings to make money, but we mainly make our money off our live shows and our gear, so I have shirts and stuff which is funny. A friend of mine used to really jump on my case because I had shirts, but not even an album or nothing. But it helps, people see it at a live show and, this shirt cost me $5 or $6 to print and they buy it for $15 or $20. I mean, you do the math, it can really make your night worthwhile. And the same thing with the vinyl. And so, I mean, the vinyl for me, I'm kind of a nerd too. It's like, well, this is my first record. It's kind of a special thing, Yeah. I don't know if I'll do it again in the future, but right now, like you said, it's trending. And to me, it's kind of like a symbolic thing. Like, even if none of them sell, I'll be like, well, I got a vinyl. For my first,
well, I like the idea of it being tangible and you collect it and you keep it nice and you can frame it, et cetera. And it just, you put it on yourself and you go, oh, I'm going to go listen to that. And it's just a process of putting it on the table. And I don't know. It just a touch of history, I guess.
It's a thing, man. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I used to, before I finally fully gave into streaming, is like I would stream, like Pandora, stuff like that, years ago. And if I liked the band, I'd go on Amazon, click on, find their CD and buy their CD. And then I would just put the CD. I have like probably 100 CDs that aren't even open because, I'm listening to them online, but I wanted that CD. And then now we're in this vinyl, resurgence of vinyl. So it's even better because it's like, I don't know, there's something cool. I've got an old RCA player that I scored on, like it's from like the 70s. It's really cool. And,
oh, nice.
You put it in there and it's a multi-holder, so it's all clicking and popping, and when it changes them out, it's cool, man. It's like fun.
You feel like you're going back in time a little bit before your own time,
Yeah, and like you said, it's tangible. It's not, I've already, in the age of streaming, I've already like forgotten about people, and it makes me super sad. I'll hear their song will pop up, I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about this band or this artist, that I gave them a heart or a thumbs up on whatever streamer I was on, but they haven't popped back up now for like 3 years. And it kind of makes me sad. It's like, I don't know, where at least if you have a record or those CDs or something, you stumble back through your collection one day because you're bored. It's like you'll never forget them, but I'm worried now, like how many people have I, will be forgotten forever. Like you loved their song for like a month, and then they just, you switch stations or whatever, and you don't hear them again. And
yeah, we definitely have shorter attention spans now as far as everything going on. But you kind of you're into something for 12 hours and you forget about it 24 hours later. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and you feel like you're supporting a band when you buy their vinyl or T-shirt. Like it's like a good karma thing, and to me at least. Yeah,
and it shows. I mean, it's good for both sides. Like I said, you're supporting the artist, but you're also like, you're if you're a true fan, and now you've got a little piece of their history or whatever, and it's your history too, because you're we can't be anything without fans. I hate these fans. I'm not, but people, like, if people don't listen to us and don't like our stuff, we're kind of irrelevant. Like,
yeah,
you can write a million songs and sing, but if nobody likes it, but like, I have friends and I have people that are like, oh, I do it for myself. It's like, well, I do it for myself too, but you're a fool to pretend that it's not for other people too. Because I mean, without other people, there's no really value in it. I mean, like, you can do it for yourself and you can entertain yourself and go down the time traveler's loop like we were talking about earlier. But at the end of the day, I mean, it really is about that other person, not in a vain way, but it's like, they're just as important to your journey as anything else. Without them, you don't have them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's just, you can't be too selfish with what you're doing. You got to share it.
Yeah, exactly. So by buying that record, it's you're not only supporting the artist, but now you're part of their journey. You're like, you're kind of part of the band in a way. As how I see it.
Yeah, like a Patreon, but not a Patreon.
Yeah. I mean, it's like because if an artist has no support, whether it be monetary or just emotionally, well, they're not going to keep going. They're not going to continue. So by buying that record or even just showing your support, you're part of that evolution. You're part of that growth. And I mean, you see it all the time with the like the guys I mentioned earlier, like Townes Van Zandt, Blaze Foley, guys like that. I mean, they weren't known until they were dead. And even now their followings are Blaze Foley just blew up a little bit because the movie came out, I think about a year ago or something like that. But like, Townes, I mean, it's a cult following, and to me, like, that's powerful. I'd rather have like 500 people that would literally go to bat for me, opposed to 500,000 that just liked my hit song that came out that year.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I really want to thank you for coming on. I know you did it a little bit in short notice, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what you're going to put out here pretty soon, or what you're doing right now. And we'll look you. I'll share your links on the social media so people can look you up. So I just want to say thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you having me on, man. It was good to chit chat.
All right. And then as far as this show, I'm going to plug a little bit. We're obviously on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all your other major platforms. So just want to thank you guys for listening, and you all have a good day. Thank you.